All right, American Warrior Radio, Saturday, February 20th, with the Coast Guard Cutter Vigilant crew, the captain and the XO, ready to roll.
He doesn't know if the timer's going to work or not, so if it doesn't, he'll pipe us on the mic. If you hear him talk, don't worry about it. It's not going over the air. Oh, okay. Well, then we'll go with regardless. SS regardless.
So it sounds like your mic cuts in and out. Are they sound activated? Is that how that works?
No, it should be going straight.
Oh, I got it.
That calling better not be for us. Yeah, all the mics are hot. John can hear everything we're saying. We ready to go? Welcome to another exciting edition of American Warrior Radio, the place to be for news, notes, interviews, and current events for all issues military and veteran related. If you or someone you know has ever worn the uniform of the U.S. Coast Guard, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard, or Reserves, you've come to the right place. American Warrior Radio, right here on the Talk to Me station, AM 1060 WMEL, and online worldwide at 1060WMEL.com, sponsored by AVET Project. Folks, this program is all about supporting our troops and their families, both past and present. So please get comfortable, grab a nice beverage, and don't forget a pen and paper, because Glenn and I are always efforting to bring you important information that you can use and share with others. With that said, let's roll down the runway and get this show off the ground. You all know me. I'm Garen Cohn. I'm an Air Force vet, a retired legal advocate for veterans, and also founder of AVET Project. But all you regular listeners know, I don't care whether you're in Korea, Afghanistan, or in Tennessee, I never fly through the airwaves alone.
Good morning. I'm Glenn McGuffey. I'm retired Air Force, and I'm the retired manager of the Brevard County Veteran Services team, where it was my honor to help our veterans and their eligible family members gain benefits earned by the veteran service to our great nation. As usual, we have a beautiful, wonderful show for you today. We got a couple special guests coming in, but before that, I want to remind you the Space Coast Community Law School continues on, and you can reach them at www.sccls.com or call 321-269-6833. Even if you haven't attended the first few seminars, you can attend this one and the remaining, or just this one. And the one coming up this week is Juvenile Law and or the Department of Children and Families. That should be really interesting.
They're all good. And folks, what's the magic word, Glenn?
They're free.
Free. All right, you don't have to pay for this, and you're going to get an education and have a good time at the same time.
That's right, and they're from 6 to 8, so the one on the 25th will be from 6 in the evening till 8 at the Moore Justice Center inside the jury assembly room. Believe me, you get there to attend at 6 o'clock, and they'll tell you where to go after you go through security. And speaking of security, don't bring any metal in your pockets like I did.
They will find you, and they will make you take it out to your car.
Yes, they will.
It's a phenomenal program put on by the likes of Britta Hawkins with Telfer Faraday, Anderson and Hawkins, the Brevard Bar Foundation, Young Lawyers Division, of course, the support of none other than WMEL AM 1060, as well as American Warrior Radio. Phenomenal program, free at the end of this term, because that's what they are. They're terms, just like you're going back to school. There's a test. Oh, I didn't mean that. No, there's a moot court.
Yeah.
And this is a phenomenal opportunity. They've already selected, based on the folks that came to the prior seminars, they've selected the group that's going to be doing the moot court. The criminal case that is involved here is the same one that our local high schools are doing. All right.
Cool.
So they're going to actually have a competition. It will be judged. We're going to have the kids from the winning kids from the local high school compete against the adults here at SCCLS, Space Coast Community Law School. So don't miss that. It's going to be a phenomenal time. But like Glenn said, you need to go online and register. SCCLS Sierra Charlie Lima Sierra.com. The schedule's there. How to register is there. They give you the materials you need, even a notebook. It's pretty spiffy.
Yeah, even something to write with. So, if you don't go online, you can call 269-6833 to make a reservation.
Now, one other quick note. AVET Project hosted our first annual Family Firearm Fun Night last November. It was an incredible success. Everybody had so much fun at Frogbones Family Shooting Center with Kel-Tec taking the lead. Kel-Tec Weapons right here in Cocoa. American made, guaranteed for life. They're amazing. The company's been so supportive of us for such a long time. Well, guess what? We're going to do it again on March 6th. That's a Sunday at Frogbones Family Shooting Center. We're going to have 25 slots open. Now, listen up, because if you're interested, you need to register now. There's only a few tickets left. This is Saturday. Probably by the end of Sunday, by the end of this weekend, it will be filled. So if you are interested, go to avetproject.org, click on the events tab, just scroll down until you see the Firearm Fun Night with AVET Project, Kel-Tec, and Frogbones Family Shooting Center, and register. Yes, it's $50, half that's going to ammunition, but we have a tremendous time. There's even a snack that's involved. It's great fun for everyone. Children over 10, as long as they have a guardian, can also participate. And we did, Glenn. We had a couple children at the last one.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's phenomenal time. So if you're interested, get on it right now. avetproject.org, click on the events tab, and it'll lead you through from there, because we only have a few seats left. I also want to get a shout out to everybody, all of our supporters and sponsors, for the incredible Valentine's Day brunch jazz fest that we had. Glenn, you were in attendance. What did you think?
Oh, outstanding. I mean, we had wonderful food, a great speaker, and then Rob Medina served up to do a
renewal of the vows.
Renewal, that's the word. Renewal of the vows en masse for like about 200 people. So that'd be 100 couples.
Yeah, we ended up with 270 total people, thanks to the DoubleTree for everything they did. I could spend an entire hour thanking everybody that was involved in making it a success. I want you all to go to the AVET Project social media sites and even American Warrior Radio sites and look at all the incredible photos that were taken. Everybody had a blast.
Yeah, it was, again, I just truly enjoyed it.
Outstanding. We want to thank Brevard Brass out there and Forensic Accounting Services as well. But Brevard Brass performed beautifully throughout the day. It was just an incredible time. So thanks everybody for your support. Those that didn't make it, you want to catch the next one, whether it's Valentine's or some other event that AVET Project is hosting, because we do it top drawer, yeah?
Oh yeah.
We don't
Couldn't
miss
ask
a beat.
for more than that.
That's right. And you know, one thing that we always want to involve is our good friends and protectors with the United States Coast Guard. And we are so privileged to have with us today the command staff of the United States Coast Guard Cutter Vigilant in studio with us now for a bosun call. None other than Commander Riley Gatewood and Lieutenant Commander Jeff Ferralt. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, you guys might have to speak a little closer into the microphones. Well, we really appreciate you joining us here today for a bosun call, and you guys know what that is, and everybody that listens pretty much knows what that is from having past ones. We've even had ship to shore, but finally we get the Coast Guard Cutter Vigilant involved. So tell our audience a little bit about yourself, beginning with you, Captain.
Sure. Commander Riley Gatewood. I came in the military right at 17 years old, right out of high school. I grew up in a large family of 6 kids. I had a brother go in the Army, one went in the Navy, one went in the Marine Corps, and I went in the Coast Guard. I'm the only one that's made a career out of it. I just went over 30 years in May, and still going. When you love what you do, why get out?
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
Where were you born? Where were you raised?
I'll say St. Charles, Missouri, just outside the city of St. Louis is where I grew up. And a lot of people are like, how'd you get in the Coast Guard?
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, the Coast Guard's there on the river, marking the A's to navigation, still doing search and rescue on the river as you need to. But that's how that was my first insights to the Coast Guard. Nothing compared to what I've actually seen in my experience active duty-wise, though.
So you see on the Mississippi River,
Yes.
all the barges going up and down, and the
Right.
Coast Guard there to help with navigation, and,
Yes.
and even when they have to get involved in law enforcement stuff.
Right.
So that really was the cue for you to look into the Coast Guard?
Well, I knew I didn't. My younger brother had some recruiters over as well, and he's the one that actually invited the Coast Guard recruiter over, and I was eavesdropping from the kitchen, like what he had to say, and I was like, yeah, I'm going into the Coast Guard.
Excellent. And Jeff, how about you? You're the XO of the ship. What does that mean?
I
for
am.
anybody?
I'm the executive officer on board, handle all the admin, budget, discipline, a lot of the administrative paperwork. But my primary objective is, or my primary goal is to give the crew the resources they need to do their job and pretty much stay out of the way. We have a phenomenal crew, very impressive, and I just got to make sure that they have the tools to do their job.
And how many do you have? How many crew members do you have?
We have total on board about 75, 65 enlisted, and about 10 officers.
Okay, now I'm going to say both of you are Mustangs. Now you talked about at age 17 you joined the Coast Guard.
Yes,
As an enlisted person.
correct.
How about you, Jeff?
So I enlisted 1998. My first assignment was on the Coast Guard Cutter Bear. I was a non-rate doing all the mess cooking, the painting, the chipping, the grinding. Did all that for almost 2 years. Then went on to an A school. I was a telecommunications specialist, and I followed that up with getting accepted in officer candidate school. And since then, my primary career path has been operations afloat. I've done primary cutters, so a bunch of a 378, a 225 buoy tender, a 270 as the operations officer, and now I'm lucky enough to be the executive officer I'm doing now.
Tell them what a Mustang is.
Oh, Mustang. That's a, you start out in the enlisted corps, work your way, hopefully you display the leadership that you need to become an officer. And, you need leadership to be an enlisted guy, to be a chief petty officer or warrant officer. But you have to display that, and then you get a recommendation to go to officer candidate school, as the both of us did. And
Is a degree part of the requirement? Do you have to have a degree?
you do not. You have to have some college credit hours, but you do not. You're not required to have a degree.
So anybody, like even some of your sailors right now, if they wanted to and if they had, the wherewithal, the constitution to do it, they could go to possibly get selected to OCS as well.
Correct.
Yeah, the sky's the limit for these guys.
Interesting, because that's unlike a lot of branches of service, Glenn.
Yeah, well, most of the other branches I know of, even if you're going through the OCS route, require that you have a college degree. So that's marvelous. That really opens up opportunities for the folks in the Coast Guard.
Yeah, I think going that route has benefited me as an officer. I think I can empathize with some of these folks, and I was, like I said, I was mess cooking, doing the painting, the chipping and grinding. So, these new reported non-rates that come on board on ship that report pretty regularly, I was just in their shoes not that long ago, it feels like.
Yeah, and you said non-rate, which we're getting specific here, and I want our audience to know what we're talking about. What is a non-rate?
So one of our newest crew members, most junior crew members, just out of basic training, and before they get to their specialty, they typically come onto a ship or another Coast Guard unit before they go to their specialty school. They're usually on board, typically about a year, depending on what school they're waiting for.
Okay, and I think Glenn was going to ask this, but I'm going to. Where do you guys do basic training in the Coast Guard?
Cape May, New Jersey.
Cape Maine. What's happening there? Have we got a big station? I mean, how big is that place?
Well, Cape May, New Jersey is our primary training center and our recruit basic training, but there's also, there were a couple cutters there. I think they've moved on since, but it's primarily a training center for our recruits.
Okay, so non-rate is somebody that's just come in, graduated basic, and then you put them to work doing whatever. That's the interesting thing about Mustangs, regardless of, and Glenn, it still happens in the Air Force. If a guy or gal gets their degree, they can apply for OCS.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All branches can apply to go to officer candidate school. It's just, unlike the Coast Guard, the other branches require a college degree.
And what about, because we've had other commanders, even the Sector Jacksonville come in and talk to us on American Warrior Radio with a bosun call. And a lot of these guys, ship captains and even XOs, have come up from the academy. And that what makes you guys so much more different than them.
Right, it does, and that's I guess that's the diversity that we really employ. Diversity it means a lot of things. Where you grew up, what your upbringing is, right? What your educational experiences are, what your leadership experiences are, all of that. So, academy, enlisted, off the street, college kids coming in off the street, we call direct commission programs.
Direct commission programs. Now, you mentioned you've got like 30 years in the Coast Guard. Are you ready to punch your ticket yet?
Not yet, not yet. I'm having the time of my life, captain of a ship here out of Port Canaveral. I'll finish this assignment, another year and a half left on this one. See what orders they give me. Of course, I'll take them. There are no bad set of orders. And do that and just keep going.
It's an impressive career track you've taken for sure. Give our audience a little flavor, a little taste of what it's like on the Coast Guard Cutter Vigilant. First of all, how old is the boat? The ship, excuse me.
The ship, it's 51 years old. It was commissioned in 1964. I was commissioned in 67.
So it's older than you.
It's older than I am, yes.
But I challenge most other cutters in the fleet on the material condition and the presence that Vigilant has. I think a lot of testament goes to the crew. They take a lot of pride in the ship, and you've been on board. You were on board last night, and you know, I don't think you would guess that it was 51 years old.
No, but it seems small, guys. Come on. The amount of space that you have for all your sailors. I like to call them coasties. How do you refer to them? I say troops sometimes, but what do you call them? Sailors?
Shipmates.
Shipmates.
Mhm.
Okay. So the shipmates, they don't hot bunk, do they? Is there enough for each individual person to have a bunk?
Everyone's got a rack.
Okay, everybody's got a rack. That's a good thing.
Yeah, no hot rack.
No, not right.
And what about chow time? Does everybody eat at once? Give us a normal day when you guys are underway out there.
Yeah, go ahead,
protecting us.
Exo. Give them through.
So typically we, you know, 3 squares a day. We try to get the duty sections fed first. So on a ship, everyone is standing on watch, and there's always someone on the bridge. There's always engineers in the engine room making sure the propulsion and generation is working. There's deckhands walking around the deck, so someone's always on watch. So we try to get those guys fed first. The crew eats on the mess deck, and then we have a wardroom designated for the officers and a chief's mess for the chiefs. We have about 5 or 6 chiefs on board. We get those guys fed first. I cycle the rest of the crew through, and the wardroom will eat. Lunch or breakfast is usually in the morning between 6 and 7. Lunchtime between 11 and 12, and then we have an evening meal, typically 1700, 5 o'clock. But we also serve mid-rats, which is at 1 in the morning for people going on in the mid-watch who are going to mix breakfast the next morning. So there's actually 4 meals a day, and you got to be careful to stay away from mid-rats if you don't have watch. You can pack on the pounds pretty quick.
Right.
Well, that leads me to my next question. What about exercise? How do the guys and gals, because you do have gals on board, right?
Yes.
We do.
Okay, how do they stay in shape? What do you do?
You get creative. You have to be very creative. We have this group that goes out on that hot, you know, rough deck, flight deck, and they're just they're doing the best they can with what push-ups, sit-ups. You get creative. You find something to do pull-ups on. We do have some weights, but you know, free weights and the motion of the ship, they don't usually go well together when you hit a sea state.
I can understand
A
that.
lot of metal clanging around.
Correct.
But that's interesting. Plus, I mean, the jobs themselves can be pretty strenuous, right? Like,
Yeah, the job is demanding, but you'd be impressed how many people are still able to get a workout in, which is great. You know, we have some equipment set up in the laundry room, so you know, you turn a couple of dryers on and you know, go exercise, and you start sweating a lot of that stuff out pretty quick.
Right.
interesting. This is an extended bosun call with the command staff of the U.S. Coast Guard Cutter Vigilant, Commander Riley and his XO, Lieutenant Commander Frault. Guys, we've talked a little bit about that. Give us a sense of what happens when you guys, first of all, when can you tell us when you're pulling out of port again? Because I know you're here after being gone for both holidays. That's why AVET Project helped you with your holiday party and stuff. But when you get ready to go out here and get underway, can you tell us a little bit about that, or when you're going out?
I wouldn't be so specific to tell you when we're leaving, but we are leaving as soon as we get the ship back together. You know, we're in a maintenance cycle. That's the cycle. You do a patrol, then you come in and you take the ship back down to parade rest, put it back together, and then get on patrol. We're getting ready to go down range. We typically, when I say go down range, go down deep Caribbean, off Central and South America. We like to get as far down range as we can to do the counter-drug interdictions down there.
Okay, explain that, counter-drug interdiction.
Right, so the Coast Guard and other partner agencies with Department of Homeland Security have come together for a Western Hemisphere strategy, and we run an operation. I'll call it Martillo. Martillo is Spanish for hammer. I don't speak Spanish, but I know that's what they tell me.
Very good.
Right, so we go down there, and you have these drug trafficking, these transcriminal organizations that will traffic from Colombia or South America, we'll say. Trying to get the narcotics into the United States through the avenues of Central America. And so we, instead of sitting up here off the coast of the United States, like most people would think with the U.S. Coast Guard,
Yeah.
we like to take the fight to them down off of their shores, and so that's where we'll deploy deep downrange for that.
Okay, and that's in the Caribbean. Do you have boats on your ship that you can launch to chase after them or something?
Yeah, we're very capable. We have 2 small boats, and sometimes we even get deployed with an aircraft as well, a helicopter. But our small boats are top notch. They can do over 30 knots, and you know, we can keep up with the bad guys pretty good.
So you'll use radar or whatever to locate somebody that you think is suspicious, launch the small ones. How's that work?
Right. Once you have what we call a target of interest, put the boats in the water and pursue that target of interest and identify it and see what they're actually out there doing.
Impressive.
Can you tell us anything about your biggest bust so far?
Last patrol was pretty good.
Yeah. The last patrol, when we pulled in to Miami for the offload, I think the total count was 4,420 pounds of marijuana and 1,100 kilograms of cocaine with a street value altogether of $41 million.
Wow.
Holy cow. And you went down there to intercept that so it didn't even get close to our shores here.
Correct.
And you had room to store all that?
We did. We had the flight deck. We had to limit ourselves with flights, so we stacked all that on the flight deck.
And I believe like 17 detainees.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
From the interdiction?
Yep.
Correct.
Interesting. Because that becomes like I know it's outside of the scope of the Coast Guard, but you work, as you said, with other agencies. When you have bad guys on board, so to speak, you come into port and some other, who takes care of them?
Customs and Border Patrol will usually take them from us. They're detained on board my vessel, and then they'll take them and do their job.
Right, whatever that is. Deport them, hopefully. We don't know. But I just want to say again, everybody, this has been an extended bosun call with the command staff of the U.S. Coast Guard Cutter Vigilant. You're only going to find this on American Warrior Radio. I know you love the bosun call. Well, for the first time, we've gotten the captain and the XO of the Coast Guard Cutter Vigilant with us, Commander Gatewood and Lieutenant Commander Farrell. Really appreciate you being here. Give us a quick story. Tell us something that was exciting from the last tour. You call it tour, deployment? What do you call it?
Deployment.
Okay. Give us something interesting. It could even be something silly that the crew did. I don't know.
So our last patrol, we were supporting the alien migration interdiction ops, and a lot of migrants are coming over from Cuba, trying to get through the Florida Straits up to Florida to get on U.S. soil. And heavy weather, cold. It's still December, January down there, and we picked up a group. And these guys were pretty desperate to get to the United States, and we had them out on deck, and one of them decided to jump overboard. But as soon as he jumped in, he knew it was a bad idea. The water was cold, and he didn't get very far, and as soon as he jumped in, we threw a couple of life rings over, and he slammed right to the life ring. We got him right back on board.
Guys, we're already over time. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope your crew, I wish you the best success on this next deployment.
Great, thank you.
Don't go anywhere. American Warrior Radio will be right back on AM 1060 WMEL. Okay, can we shave that back? About 15 seconds. That's how fast. It's over. Can you believe that?
I was just hitting my stride.
I know, I could tell. I know. Well, we'll have you guys back. But also, it's really cool if we can do, because I got to tell you, the county has already done a ship to shore.
Yeah.
You know, when you're out, if something exciting happens or you want to share something, or just say hello to everybody, pop
Yeah.
in. Shorter version than we did today, but just pop in and say
Yeah.
hello.
Okay.
And then all your
How do we
families
set-
can
how do we
listen
set that
in.
up?
I would have to do it right over the phone with you, right?
Like a sat phone
So
or
we
whatever.
just call him from
Yeah.
our dedicated sat phone line from the desk.
KVH.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like we're calling
Yeah.
back to.
I'm pretty sure that's how they did it.
All right.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we're not on it anymore.
No,
right?
we're done.
So this next, I can kind of tell you what we're doing now. Our next trip is very exciting. They're actually going to push us out through the Panama Canal. We're going to go patrol on the Pacific Ocean side.
Get out of here.
Right.
Cool.
So the crew is just excited. Different port calls.
Have you guys been through the canal before?
I have not.
I have. I've been through 4 times already. So this will. I've never had to navigate through. So
You'll be fine,
right.
right? He's a good driver?
Right.
You have people drive for you, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
But
but
it's
has your driver ever gone through there? What do you call him? Boatswain?
Helmsman?
Coxswain?
Helmsman?
The helmsman.
Helmsman.
Or the conning officer is the one that's really going to take the ship through. That's how that's going
Okay.
to work. But we're excited about
Have
it.
they gone through the canal before?
Well,
Probably not.
no, I don't think so. I don't think a majority of the crew has gone through the Panama Canal before.
Yeah.
So, and is it because we're going to chase bad guys on the West Coast?
Right, so the operation I talked about is actually on both sides of Central America, and we send cutters from the East Coast. It's a shorter run to go from along the East Coast right through the Panama Canal, right there off of Panama, Colombia, before they can get their run up to Mexico or Guatemala.
So cut them off there before the
Cut 'em
guys
off.
have to come south to catch them.
Correct,
Interesting.
correct.
Because doesn't San Diego have a Coast Guard presence? Or?
They do,
yeah.
but you know, the old days of where they would run from Colombia, like up through the Bahamas or straight up to South California, they don't do that anymore because of the
Because of you guys.
supersaturation of the Coast Guard and everybody that's there. So now they try to run it into Central America and then bring it across the ground through Mexico because Mexico's so corrupt.
And
so
porous.
Right.
I mean, we don't have a border there.
Right, and so that's why those drugs are still intended for U.S. landfall, even though they're not coming straight to the U.S.
Right.
by maritime means. But we just want to continue to take the fight to them downrange, so we're not doing it here.
So are you going to be gone longer since you've gone through the canal?
Same deployment
Couple
length.
months?
hmm
Okay.
Yeah,
And you're getting underway, I mean, for our purposes here, March, middle of March.
middle of March till the middle of May.
Yep.
We'll be
Okay.
back.
Cool.
Mhm.
Good.
Great.
Yeah, we're
And
excited.
hopefully have another good greeting. I know the family members are out there, but we'd like to see the community get involved too.
Right.
Geez, here I am recording all this. This is good stuff, I'm sure. But we're running over.